Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Levittown Public Library Egoscue class with Kimberly Sabat on July 19th, 2021. Take it away, Kimberly.
Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Today, we're going to start out with shoulder realignment sequence. Remember, if anything does not work for you, if something hurts, something's painful, and I'm talking the bad pain, there's a difference between bad pain and sensation. So if you feel the bad pain, back out of the move, just wait. I'll do my best to give you as many modifications as I can think of, but if something's not working out for you, just hang out for a second, wait for the next move. That may work better for you. Today, I don't really think we're going to be using too many tools. I think we're just going to do a lot of moves without tools. Might use a block. So if you do not have a block, a yoga block or something similar this fashion, you're going to use a pillow off of your bed. Remember, if you use a pillow, I want you to fold it in half or maybe in thirds because you want to have a lot of resistance when and if we use it. But I don't think our sequence today is going to require it. If it does, and have your block ready. So we're going to start out today with shoulder realignment. And this move actually starts on your hands and knees. If you cannot get on hands and knees, static extension position, then I'm going to have you stand up and you're going to put your hands on the wall. And you're going to keep your hands in line with your shoulders best you can. If that makes you bend your elbows and your wrists hurt, you could separate your arms a little bit wider. Just going to lean in and let your shoulders articulate back and down. Again, if your shoulders are not moving back and down, then you separate your hands wider and that'll help them get back and down. That's the point of this move. We're going to hold the move for 2 minutes. For those of you that can get on the floor, this is static extension position. So you start out on hands and knees. I want your knees right underneath your hips. If you're standing, your feet go right underneath your hips. And we're going to put the hands right underneath the shoulders to start. Right under the shoulders. Now we're going to move the hands 6 inches forward. So I just put my palm where my fingertips are. It's only 6 inches. Palm where fingertips are, palm where fingertips are. Now I'm going to shift my weight forward again. See, it's not that much of a shift. I just put my hips 6 inches forward of my knees. That's going to turn our hip flexors on, give it a little bit of load. I want you to try and get your shoulders to come back and down and think of making your back like a sway back horse. Drop your head. If this hurts your wrists, you can come onto your fists. That will take the bend out of your wrist. You can certainly do that. And also, if this hurts your wrists or you want another modification, you can do this on your elbows, but try to keep your forearms parallel from each other. Here we go, everybody. Enough chat with the setup. Again, just like if you're on the wall and your elbows are bending, if you can't get your shoulders to come back, what you can do is separate your hands away from each other, even wider than shoulder distance, and that will allow your shoulder blades to articulate back and down. That's what we're going after. See, some of you have shoulders that forgot how to do that, and they don't like to load. So you do this when you're bending. Your elbows start to bend when your shoulders have to go back because your shoulders don't want to do it. So if that's happening to you and you keep having to straighten your elbows, may I suggest separating your hands a little wider. I need my book. Forgot my book here. So I've got a structural issue in my clavicle. So one of my arms looks longer than the other. So when I do this move, it actually throws my back off. So I have to compensate because of a broken bone by putting the mat folded up underneath my hand or a book underneath my hand. So that way my shoulders get level. These are just things that I know about my posture and my structure. We are past our minute, everybody. Hang out for about 45 more seconds. If you can't, then go ahead and get out of the move. This is not an easy move if you're a beginner. This isn't an easy move, even if you're advanced. This is a tough move. I'm asking your shoulder blades to retract. I'm asking the hip flexor to turn on and support you. This is hard. Your arms might be burning. Hang in with me, everybody. Got 15 more seconds. Goal here, keep your elbows straight and remind your shoulders how to load. Great, come out of it. If you cannot handle staying on your hands and knees, you're gonna lay on your back and we're gonna do cross crawl. If you can't lay on your back, you'll do a cross crawl while you stand. Cross crawl is just opposite arm to opposite leg. Keep your knee in line with your hip, keep your ankle in line with your hip. Same thing on the floor. This is only if you can't get on hands and knees, everybody. So you're gonna do this cross crawl. I can get on my hands and knees. So I am going to do arm leg opposite reaches on hands and knees. I'm going to give myself a minute to do it. I hope you guys can come along with me. Whichever move you choose, bring your right arm forward, bring your left leg back, move that thing out of the way behind me, and switch. If you're giving yourself the challenge of doing this on hands and knees, and you find you're wobbly, you don't have to pick up the leg. You can touch the toe on the floor behind you. But I do want you guys to progress. So give it a shot here and there, lifting the foot off of the floor. We've got to get the hip to remember how to load you, how to hold you under load, rather. Good. Stay with me about 10 more seconds, everybody. We're just going back and forth. Fabulous. I want you guys to either come to a counter or a window. I'm going to use my window. I don't have a counter over here. We're going to do counter stretch. If you don't have a counter and you don't have a window, you can certainly do this on a wall. You're just going to come a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand and I'm going to put my hands way up on the wall. Then I'm going to back away from the wall and kind of let my chest hang. I'll show you what that looks like from the side. Put my hands way up on the wall, back away from the wall, and let my chest hang. I've got a windowsill that's a bit lower, so I'm actually going to use that. This should usually be counter height. Same idea here. Keep your feet hip distance. Keep your feet pointed straight ahead. This one's a little bit tougher. We're going to set this one for a minute, everybody. Point of this one is to realign your hips, back, and shoulders, but we're doing it under vertical load. I want you to keep your hips right over your heels, let your chest drop, and keep your thighs tight. 1 minute. 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. If this bothers your shoulders, you don't have to go this low. Like I just showed you, you can go higher up on the wall. You can even stance your arms out wider. Keep your thighs tight, everybody. That's not the same as squeezing your butt. I want you to relax your butt. Keep your thighs tight. Again, if this is too much, you can back out. We only got 5 more seconds, so hang in with me if you can. I don't care if you do 2 seconds of it. Do something. Good. Come on out. I'm going to give you guys another 1 minute long exercise. This one's called the hang, and we are going to do it like you normally would do it. I'm not going to give you hang in Egoscue style. We're going to just hang. So I want you to put your feet hip distance, everybody. Hip distance, about the width of $1, straight down to my ankles. I'm just going to do a forward fold and hang. I'm going to hold there for 1 minute. So what it looks like from the side, you're going to see my hips go back. That's okay. We're just hanging. Your hang may not look like mine. Your hang might look like this. That's okay. Can't hang out for a minute, hang out for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Believe it or not, this is a shoulder realignment sequence, believe it or not. And one of the reasons why we're working so much on the hips and the legs is because they attach to your shoulders. A lot of times people say, oh, I got this problem with my foot. Usually I give them shoulder exercises. Oh, I got this problem with my shoulder. I'll give them leg exercises because of that attachment. I'm going to come and do some cats and dogs. Can't do this on hands and knees. You're going to sit in your chair and get the same thing done. All I'm doing is arching my back and rounding my back. Arch and round. I've seen people try to do this standing. It looks ugly, but it can be done. If you're doing it sitting, it looks like this. It's really easy. Arch and back. When I do it on hands and knees, I do keep my hands under my shoulders. I do keep my knees underneath my hips. We're going to move into arm circles next. For those of you that have been with me for a while, you know there are many positions to do your arm circles in. You can stand, you can sit with your legs straight out in front of you. You can kneel. I'm going to give you that option. You take any position that you want and then just see how it works with you. For those of you that are new, arm circles. We're going to take this position with our hands. I come with my hands together and then I make fists. Then I flatten my fists out. So my thumb is sticking out, my fists are nice and flat. Like I said, you can stand, you can sit, many different ways to do this. If you're standing, keep your feet hip distance. You're going to drop the hands at your sides and squeeze your shoulder blades together, no matter what position you're in. Then you bring your arms out to a T. Okay? I'm going to try it kneeling today. Same thing. Shoulders back, arms out, circle up and forward 40 times. Keep your belly relaxed. What we're doing is we are perturbing the torso. And you'll notice as you perturb the torso, your torso is kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is turning your hips on. This is a hip exercise as much as your arms are burning, I know. We're going to circle backwards. We're going to turn the palms up, thumbs point backwards, same thing. Again, you can do this sitting in a chair. You can do this standing. You can do this kneeling, like I'm showing you. I do this kneeling because when I do this, it actually pulls my hips back. So for those of you that have a tendency for your hips to kind of slouch forward, you got kind of that sway back thing going on. When you stand, you do this. This move will help pull them right underneath your shoulders. Fantastic. I'm going to do sitting floor twist next, everybody. So have a seat. If you can't sit on the floor, you can get this done in a chair. This is just a harder version. We're going to hold it for 1 minute each side. All we're doing is twisting the torso in one direction and hanging out there for a minute. But if you're with me on the floor, here's the added challenge. We're going to keep the legs out straight. And I'm going to use my left leg first. So I'm going to pull my left knee in. And if I can, I'm going to cross the left leg over to the right side. So from the other side, it looks like this. It's not easy to do, especially hey, if you're like 8 months pregnant and you got a big baby in the way, you might have to leave the leg out to the side. That's okay. So I do this crossover. And now here's the hard part. I want you guys to sit in extension. You see how slouched I am here? I want you to sit in extension. So you're going to pull the pelvis into an anterior tilt. Oh, you feel that? And we're going to twist towards the bent knee. We're going to hold it for 1 minute. Keep trying to point your knee up to the sky using your hip muscles, not your arms. So I'm not pulling my knee into my chest with my arm. I'm using my hip muscle to hold the knee up towards the sky. My elbow is just resting here. But you might not be able to get your elbow to rest there. Maybe you have to rest your hand on your knee, but don't pull. Do not use your hand. I want you to use your hips. My leg that's straight out on the floor, I'm keeping the thigh tight. You see how my ankle's in dorsiflexion? I'm keeping that leg nice and straight. By doing that, we're forcing the hip to work. If I were to take my hand away from near my back, I can still sit upright. That's how hard this pose should be working you. 3, 2, 1. Come on out. This is not an easy move. If you're sitting in a chair, it might feel easier. So again, I'm going to go to the other side and bend my knee, put the leg across. If you can, you might not be able to. Maybe you can just pull your heel into your butt and just leave it there. I'm going to sit in extension, watch my pelvis. I'm going to twist towards my bent knee. 1 minute. My hand that's behind me, it's just there for a bit of balance, tiny bit of support. I'm not leaning into it. Again, I'm using my hips to hold me up. You should feel like, oh my God, this is so much work. Oh, I feel it. My knee is not falling out. I'm using my hip muscles to pull it in. Should feel like a lot of work. This is a move you often see in yoga. I forgot the rishi that it's named after. I forgot the pose. It's named after a specific yogi. It'll come to me. But everybody walks by the class and sees this. Oh, that looks so easy. And then they come inside and they take the class like, oh my God, that's so difficult. Very challenging move. 10 more seconds, everybody. Stay with me. Come on out. Our last move in the shoulder realignment sequence. This is a toughie. I haven't shown you guys this one in a while. It's hard. I don't know how I'm going to hold up because it's a lot of quads. This one is called hero squats. We're going to do it from the knees. If you cannot get onto your knees, you're just going to sit in a chair and you're going to keep your hands behind your head and keep your elbows back. Hero squats. This is not an easy move. So I'm on my knees. I'm going to tuck my toes because I'm actually going to sit back and I'm going to come back up. That's an easier way. Harder way is to let the toenails hit the floor and go ahead and sit back and come up. We're going to do 10 of them, but I want you guys to think about keeping your pelvis in extension, just like we did on the last move. So you're not going to tuck it under and round. You're going to come in the opposite direction. Interlace your hands behind your head, draw your elbows back. If that's too hard, just place your hands on your shoulders and draw your elbows back. I'm going to go for 10, everybody. Sit back and come up. Keep your elbows back hard. Need a little bit more mat from my knees here. That'll do it. Not easy work. Again, if you're sitting in your chair, you're just going to sit there with your elbows back nice and strong while you wait for me to finish. Everybody feel that in your quads? Woo, hard work. Your work has paid off, everybody. I'm going to have you roll over and lay on your back. I'm going to show you a bit of a sequence for hip flexors, as if we didn't do enough, right? Everybody lay on your back. I'm going to give you a little break to start. We're going to take the frog position, please. So if you can't lay on your back, you can do this sitting in a chair too. Just put the soles of your feet together and let your knees flop out. I don't care if you have to pull a couch in front of you or put your feet on a table or another chair. Doesn't matter how you do this, just get it done. You can sit like this to whatever degree you have. I'm going to lay here for, let's do 1 minute. Usually this is a 2-minute long move. Let's hang out here. I'm sure your legs are probably thanking you for this. A little bit of a break. Usually when I try this move straight off the bat, my shoulders are very uneven. My back is uneven. I feel really symmetrical. Really symmetrical now. So that just shows me all of that alignment that I did through my shoulders and through my back just paid off. And it didn't take us that long to do that shoulder realignment sequence. If you don't like me narrating it to you, you can get that if you look up Egoscue active shoulder realign on YouTube. You could get Pete Egoscue walking you through that one. It's a good sequence. There's a lot of free stuff on YouTube besides my stuff. Besides the library's stuff, there's lots of free information out there. You can get it. Okay, as if we didn't do enough hip flexor, right? want you guys to come to the hook lying position. Now you can do this sitting in a chair too. We're going to come to the hook lying position. Let me get a little bit closer to the camera. So I want you to see what I'm doing with my feet. I am going to come onto the ball of my right foot. I'm going to do the work with my left foot though, but I'm going to come onto the ball of my right foot. I'm going to lift my left foot off of the floor about 2 to 6 inches and then back down. Lift and lower. By lifting my right heel and coming onto the ball of my right foot, I'm actually stabilizing the right side of, well, my pelvis, my leg, even the back as I do this work. That's been very tough for some of my clients to even come onto the ball of the foot. So just try it out. I'm going to do 10 and then we'll switch to the other side. It's a little lift. What we're going after is turn the hip flexor on, turn it off. Usually when I'm doing this move, I'm putting a roll underneath my lower back because it does have a tendency to want to go flat nowadays. I'm doing a lot of sitting, doing a lot of biking. Yeah. And so as I do that, my pelvis is starting to remember, okay, we'll go flat, we'll go flat. Switch. So I'm coming to the ball of my left foot and I'm lifting my right foot off of the ground and lowering it back down. Knees are bent. So this is one of the easiest, strike that. No, let's use the word easy. It's simple, but it's also easy because the leg is bent and I'm giving you the least resistance that I possibly can with this exercise. Turn the hip flexor on, turn it off. Many people can do this. This is a pretty simple exercise. I'm going to switch back to the left leg, come onto the ball of the foot, lift and lower. So this is going to be my progression towards getting you to do the V-ups that we did last week that were tough for some of you. You couldn't lift both legs at the same time. That's hard. That's hard. So we're going to do one leg at a time. This is me regressing the V-up for you. So of course, if we were to progress from this, a harder version of this would be to extend our working leg out straight. And once the knee is bent, you don't have a whole lot of weight on the leverage, no, not the leverage point, on the pivot point of the hip. So you can feel that. I've switched everybody in the meantime I was talking, sorry. So now I'm going to progress you. We're going to straighten out the leg and make it a little bit harder. So I'm going back to my right leg. I got my leg straight. I lift and I lower. Now the Band-Aid here is keeping your right foot on the floor, because if you add pressure onto the floor there, it's actually helping you lift the left leg. You've got to keep the knee straight though. If you can't keep the knee straight, then this is where you need to do your work. Flutter kicks are not going to work out for you, and V-ups are definitely not going to work out for you. So if you find, oh, this is challenging, I can't keep my knee straight, then this is where you need to practice. I'm going to switch to the other leg. Check it out. Lift and lower. Knee is straight. Notice my ankle's in dorsiflexion. I'm pushing my heel away. I'm trying to add so much leverage on this pivot point, fulcrum, right? This is my seesaw, my pivot point. So check yourself out here. What does it feel like? Can I do this? Can I get this done? Go back to my right leg again. Check it out. Did it get better? Did it get worse? Believe it or not, I give this move to some of my clients. Well, let's just say the one client that I have in a wheelchair, I love using her because she always tells me she can't do it. She can't do it. Well, we'll see. And then I make her do it. Yes, I do. And then she shows me that she can do way better. And usually she does better and better the second and third time. It drives me nuts. So I switched again, everybody. So check it out. Is it getting easier for you? Are you getting fatigued? Is it getting worse? Are you working on that muscle? Does it feel like, ooh, this is where I can work. I can get this done. It's challenging, but I can do it. So you feel it out, see how you feel. Now, this is a toughie. I'm not going to kill you guys. I'm not going to do 30, 30, 30, 30 because I'm showing you the progression. Now I'm going to give you flutter kicks. This is not easy. I put my hands underneath my butt. Yes, you can get this done sitting in a chair. All of these moves you can get done sitting in a chair. I'm going to extend both of my legs straight out. Lift, 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 lift. The lady in the wheelchair, when I get her butt on the floor and she does this is how she does it. Lift, 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 because that other leg has to be on the floor in order for her to push off of it to lift. That's okay, but I'd love you guys to get to the point where both knees can be straight and you can flutter right here in space. I'm gonna give you maybe 20 flutters. Give it a shot, see how you feel. If your knees are bending and you can't quite get it done, may I suggest you have to go back, regress to the other move where you're doing this lift. So you're gonna still work on keeping the knees straight and building that strength. So this is our last move before we do both legs into the sky. Here's our V up. V up is both legs lifting into the sky. And if you can, you're gonna pick your upper body up as well. So I can do that. You guys progress where you want. Legs lift, legs lift. Again, can't do this. One leg at a time, one leg at a time. But here's our V up from last week. See how you do. Did the progression help you get better? Did you find where you need to work? That's our V up. Lovely. Are you tired now? Your hips as tired as mine are? Good. All right, everybody. Let's go into upper spinal floor twist now. We're going to lay completely on one side. And you know what? Let's hold this pose for 2 minutes today. Let's do 2 minutes. You guys can hold it for longer than that. 3 minutes is pretty good. 1 minute is definitely the bare minimum. Definitely bare minimum. So I'm going to lay on my left side. I want you to think of 90-degree angles. Okay? You're going to bend your knees at 90. You're going to bend your hips at 90. I love using the side of my mat for this. So if I put my knees and my ankles on the side of my mat, usually everything else lines up too. I'm going to touch my palms together so my shoulders are stacked. Since I'm on my left side, I'm putting my left hand on the top of my knees. I'm holding in that vertical stack. I'm going to open up my right arm like a book. Keep the arm in line with your chest. Don't let it slip down by your butt. I want you to open up like a book. Eventually, your shoulder and your arm will be laying on the floor, but they have to be doing that while keeping the pelvis in a 90-degree stack, in a vertical stack. Now turn to the side so you guys can see from this angle as well what I'm doing, how the alignment looks. My other arm looks atrocious. So if you guys have a hard time with this and this straight arm is too much leverage on your shoulder, you can bend your elbow and rest your hand on your ribs. You can also put something like a pillow behind you and you can rest your arm on that. I don't care what height it is. You're probably going to see me do that on the other side. But eventually we're going to touch the floor. Have to keep the knees in a vertical stack. We passed a minute. We're going to hang out a little bit more. Do not cheat. If your shoulder and your arm is on the floor at this point, I want you to check your knees. Put your hand on your knees. Make sure that your knees are still vertical. I love doing this to my other client. I put the pillow in front of her knees and I make sure both of her knees stay in contact with that pillow. Because if she slips, she's cheating. Both knees need to stay in contact with the pillow. This is similar to that sitting floor twist that we did. This is just a little easier version of it. Easier in some ways, might be more difficult in others. Stick with me for 20 more seconds if you can. Oh, love this move. All right, we're going to get this done on the other side. Remember, keep that vertical stack. Knees and ankles, and hold them in place. Top arm is going to open just like a book. Keep it in line with your shoulders. There was a time when I came out of surgery a few months ago that this was just painful. And the tissues were so tender, I had to put a block underneath my elbow to support my arm in this position. Now it's just tight and it's just hanging out. So I'm just going to hang out and breathe into it and just let the tissues settle on their own using gravity. It is sensation, yes. So I feel the stretch. It makes you kind of talk funny because it's stretching, but you got to know the difference between bad pain and good pain. And for me, this is good pain. This has to stretch. We have to re-educate the tissues. We've passed our minute. We're going to hang out for one more minute here. It's okay if you feel tingling in your hands. I feel tingling in my fingers too sometimes. It's just change. Don't let your hand come down by your butt, everybody. Tendency is to think that you're getting lower and lower to the ground, but really what you're doing is you're bringing your arm closer to your side. Don't do that. Keep it in the same line as both shoulders through your chest. Wonderful. Oh, come on out. Yeah, there's tight tissues in there. Anybody else have a similar problem? Gonna come back into the frog position, please, everybody. We're gonna do pullovers. I'm going for pullovers next. We're actually gonna pull off 30 of them. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, frog position. Reach your arms straight up to the sky. Elbows nice and straight. I like to turn my elbow creases in towards each other. Otherwise, I kind of get bumped in the head. Bring your arms backwards overhead and then over your chest. I'm gonna go for 30. I used to be able to hit the floor. I can't hit the floor anymore due to my left arm and what's going on with it. That does not mean that I bend my elbows to hit the floor. I know you guys want to succeed and feel satisfied by your success, but success in Egoscue is going to happen by keeping your form, being persistent with form and your reps, not by effort. I'll say that again, it is not effort that makes you successful in Egoscue. It's not the effort. So remember, the harder we try, the more our body's going to compensate using those old patterns that we're trying to unwind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do some pelvic tilts. Point your knees towards the sky. Pelvic tilt is rocking your pelvis back and forth. We're going 2 different directions. We're tucking our pelvis under, so the tailbone goes under, our lower back hits the floor. We're arching our back and tilting our pelvis forward. My butt stays on the floor. I'm not lifting. Back and forth, back and forth. Both sides of the pelvis are rocking, rocking. All the way one way, all the way the other way. Try to keep a fluid motion and go straight through from front to back. One of my clients loves to go under, neutral, back, neutral, under, neutral, back. No, make it fluid, fluid. Do not segment this one. Okay, back here, I had a real mean workout routine. I think I want to give it to you guys. I'm going to be really mean today. You're going to love it. We'll be okay. Okay. We did arm circles, so I'm going to hit you in another way. I'm going to stay on your back. I'm going to give you guys hip lifts, but I am going to show you how to get it done on a chair. So if you cannot do this on your back, here's another way of doing it in the chair. It's the same darn thing. You're laying on your back. I'm going to cross one ankle over to your knee. Everybody else, we're laying on the floor, hip lift. We're holding 1 minute on each side. Here we go. Not easy. I'm going to go right ankle to left knee. Here's the work. I'm going to pull my right knee into my chest while my left knee draws away. I'll show you that angle from the other side. See how pretty that looks? If you notice that your body is twisting while you're doing this, you can put your foot on the wall. You want to keep the torso from twisting. You want to stay as neutral as you were with both feet on the floor. So if you notice, ooh, my body's twisting, go ahead and put your foot on the wall and that'll stop your body from twisting. We're going to hold 1 minute each side, everybody. Here we go. Left ankle to right knee, pick it up, hold. This one's called hip lift. It's not easy. Looks like my right leg is in the static back position. Your left knee draws away from you. Your right knee pulls in towards you. I know it feels like work. You need to take a break. Go ahead, put the legs down, take a break. If you can't hold it for 1 minute, hold it for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. This is a lot of hip flexor work, but I tell you, after I've been riding my bicycle the way I have, my quadricep is so tired. I want to put my leg down so bad, but I'm not going to. Everything's connected, even though the hip flexor should be doing most of this work. I feel it in my quads so badly. All the tissues are connected in there, everybody. So hang in. Hang in with me. 3, 2, 1, rest. We're going to go for the other side. Let's see how hard that feels. Right ankle to left knee. And pick it up. Ugh. Try your best to stay at these beautiful 90-degree angles. If this is hard for you, I don't want you to use your arms. This is not a stretch. This is work. So what I'd rather you do is just put your foot on the wall or on a door to help you here. I want you to leave your arms out of it. This is about hips. This is about hips. Sure, at the end or beginning of a yoga class, we do moves like this to kind of stretch because it feels nice, but this is a different style. Style today is a gasku. Oh, is your leg shaking like mine? Usually that doesn't happen. Yeah, my legs are tired. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. We're going to use a chair, everybody. Can't use a chair, use an imaginary chair. I don't care. Okay. Chair. If you guys don't have the ability to hop, you're going to do a step. In fact, I'm going to angle my camera a little bit because I think I might be missing you. There we go. Yes. Okay. You don't have to hop. You can do a step. I'm going to attempt to do a hop. You're going to place your hands on your chair, on something. I don't care how high your chair is. Your chair might be this high, it might be low. If you cannot hop, you're going to do a step. Pretend you're stepping over a log and over a log. From the other angle, looks like this. I'm stepping over. I'm stepping over. You feel really good? Of course, lawnmower, right? You feel really good? You're going to come with me and turn it into a hop. I'm going to give you 1 minute to get it done. You either step over or you hop. Doesn't matter. Ready, set, go. Of course, my earplugs are falling out here. Just 1 minute, everybody. We're halfway there. You might be stepping. It's an imaginary log. Hang on to the counter, hang on to the wall. Do something. Ten seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Nice, some of you get it. Oh, now I look like a real hot mess. That's side over, everybody. Grab your chair. We're going to do a few sit to stands. Sit to stands. Whew, I look a mess. Sit to stands. All right. We're sitting in the chair. Interlace your hands behind your head, just like we did before. Sit with your legs at 90 degrees best you can. Draw your elbows back. Stand and sit. Stand and sit. 1 minute, squeeze out as many as you can or as few as you can. Doesn't matter. If your knees love to dive in and you can't hold them out, if your knees love to dive out and you can't hold them in, put a block between your legs. That will force both of your hips to work evenly. "30 seconds. I don't care if you do 1. I don't care if you do 12. We are about being symmetrical. So that's what I look like with my block between my legs. Oh, very nice, everybody. Pause. All right. I'm going to show you progression to push-up. Progression to push-up. It starts out with our static extension position. Then we're going to get ourselves into plank. Then I'm going to show you how lame my push-ups look. Remember that first move we did today, where we came into static extension position, look like this? I want you guys to remember, in Egoscue style push-ups, we keep the shoulders back and down. Keep them pinned. As soon as we get into a plank, your shoulders are probably going to do this. If that happens, you have to keep working on static extension position first. So here we go. We're getting into static extension position, whether you're on elbows or you're on your fists, even if you're standing at the wall. We're going to take the legs out straight. Give it a try. Keep your shoulders in place, though. Straight, straight. If that's too much, go ahead and drop your knees. Get back to static extension. We're going to hold in plank for 1 minute. Shoulders in place, straight, straight. Tighten your thighs, shoulders stay back. That's it. Thighs tight, shoulders back. My left arm does not like this at all. How do you guys feel? You don't have to suck in your abs here. That's a no-no in Egoscue. If you keep your shoulders back and down and you keep your thighs tight, the abs turn on their own. Oh, shaky, shaky, shaky. Remember, you can do this on your fists. You can do this on your elbows. Come on out. That was a minute. I am going to need a little break before we go into push-ups. So I did promise you last week that we'd do some push-ups. You can do that against the wall just like I did. Okay. Push-ups against the wall, same thing as push-ups on the floor. You put your hands on the wall, you drop your shoulder blades in. Thighs stay tight. Hands are shoulder distance. Again, if you need to go a little wider because your shoulders don't go back and down, go a little wider. That's okay. But we're going to keep the shoulders back and down, keep the thighs tight. Bend the elbows, press back. Feet are hip distance. Same idea if we're going to the floor. Mine are going to look so ugly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if they look ugly. Left arm doesn't want to work, but hey, it's all right. So if you can do the plank that we just last did, and you could hold that, we're going to go for push-ups. I don't care how deep they look. They might be just an inch deep. You might have a push-up that looks like this. I don't care. That's cool. But work on getting towards push-up. If you couldn't do plank before, just keep working on that. Try it. I want to see 10 push-ups from everybody, whether you're on the wall or you're on the floor. I don't care which. Set your shoulders, legs back. If you're on the floor, push-ups. Shoulders stay back, everybody. Oh, left arm hates this. I will get better, and so will you. Shoulders stay back. I am going to finish out on the wall. I am going to finish my 10. I'm going to finish out on the wall. Shoulders back. Oh boy, that left arm's tight. It's this point where it just doesn't want to go, but we keep going, everybody. Great. How did you guys do? Did you do good? Nice 10 push-ups, whether on the wall, on the floor, or a mix like I did. Hope so. All right. Let's get back to hands and knees or on your chair. I'll give you cats and dogs, and we'll take a nice rest. Hands and knees, cats and dogs, or on your chair. Arch, tuck, arch, tuck, arch, tuck, arch, tuck. Remember, on your chair, nice and easy, looks like this. Back and forth. Fantastic. Beautiful, everyone. Okay. Today we're going to end with a static back. You're going to find yourself on the floor. We'll do a few minutes here. Put your legs up on top of your chair. If you have shoulders that are rounding forward and it's causing your head to look back, if that's still occurring, put something underneath your head to hold your head neutral. Turn the palms up and rest here for 2 or 3 minutes. This will be our last move today. Get the fan on you like I have. A lot of times we start with this move. I usually start with this move because I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Does everybody feel how different it is ending with this move than when it is when you start with this move? I feel it immediately. Both sides of my pelvis are even. I feel an even amount of space off of the mat. It's really nice to get that as confirmation. 2 more minutes, everyone. We did a lot of strong work today. Proud of you. Proud of you. I watched a lot of you come along. You did some of the more challenging stuff with me. And I think some of you did better than me too. Good. You're now my inspiration. Okay, got 1 more minute, everybody. All of the easy moves they're nice and all. And I know you've heard me say this before, glute squeezes and knee pillow squeezes. They're fantastic. Sometimes we have to do harder work in order to activate the muscle groups we're looking for. And knee pillow squeezes may not cut it all the time. Glute squeezes may not cut it all the time. You may have to do a plank. You may have to do some squats. You may have to do push-ups. You may have to. It may require stronger stimulus in order to get the results that we're looking for. So I'm glad a lot of you accepted the challenge, and now you have that ability to appreciate what happened to your body. I want you guys to take 3 more breaths. And I am going to let you go for the day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That's a very short list. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave them in the YouTube link for the library, and I'll make sure to ignore them as usual. No, really, I hope to see you guys next week, and I hope this was helpful for you. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day, everybody.